This is lesson 16 for 7th grade, and today we're talking about the U.S. customary system and some function tables. Alright, U.S. customary system, that refers to our U.S. system of measurement, so capacities, lengths, weights, stuff like that. We're going to learn how to, we're going to see examples of how to convert back and forth. This should have already been learned. We're just going to hit those points again. And then function tables, something that has been seen before, basically a way to map inputs to outputs, the very beginnings of some algebraic processes there. We'll get into that just a little bit at the end. So we're going to consider our U.S. customary system, and like I said, we're going to be talking about measurements of dimensions, weight, volume, temperature, some things like that. So one thing, we have some common weight equivalences. The following table shows common weight equivalences for the U.S. Alright, 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound, so in 1 pound there are 16 ounces. 2,000 pounds is a ton, so these are the two that they wanted to bring up. So the first question I asked was, a certain truck can hold 3/4 of a ton. How many pounds is this? Alright. So we basically want 3/4 of a ton, or 3/4 of 2,000 pounds. We have a couple ways to do this. Remember, of, that's one of our special words. That means we're going to multiply. So one way we could do it is to just straight up multiply. We could turn this fraction into a decimal if we wanted to. Happens to be 0.75. If we multiply that times 2,000, we'll get our answer. We could take the fraction times 2,000 and we would get our answer. We could also set it up like this. We know we're working in fourths, so let's make a box here. Alright, a rectangle, and 4 boxes. Not very equal. We'll pretend that they are equal. We know that the whole thing is 2,000. And we want 3/4 of that. Well, we're working in fourths, so we're going to take our whole thing and divide that by 4. So 2,000 divided by 4 is actually 500. So 500 is 1/4. That goes in each box then. 500, 500, 500, 500. Okay? Alright, and we want 3 of those 4 boxes. So we want these right here. If we add all those together, we should get 1,500 or 1,500. That's one way we could do that. So we should see that we should be an answer of 1,500 pounds. So that's one way you could have done it. A much faster way, like I said, you could turn this into a decimal and multiply, or you could do multiply by a fraction. 3/4 times 2,000 over 1. And here's where we can see, alright, we're going to be dividing by 4 eventually, so I'm just going to do that right away. 2,000 divided by 4 is 500. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So 1 times 1, 1. 3 times 500, 1,500. And 1,500 over 1 is 1,500. So that's another way we could have gotten it. Okay. How many pounds is 48 ounces? Well, 48 ounces, let's see, 1 pound equals 16 ounces. And we want to figure out how many pounds 48 ounces is. So to get from 16 to 18, we got to figure out how we got there, and then apply that same rule to 1, and we should get what's in our missing box here. So let's see, 48 divided by 16 is actually 3. So if we do 1 times 3, we should get 3 pounds. So it's basically like a ratio. We could have had 1 pound is to 16 ounces as 40, or X is to 48 ounces. So to get from here to here, we multiply by 3. So to get from here to here, we also multiply by 3. And we should see that we get our second option there, 3 pounds. So it's basically setting up a ratio there. We haven't really set ratios up yet. We're going to really hammer that this year though. They're just much easier to work with. I think half of the battle with some of the future problems is getting your problem set up the correct way. Alright, some common lengths here, 12 inches and 1 foot, 3 feet and 1 yard. This is a little less obvious, 1,760 yards in 1 mile, 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So we're going to use a couple of those here. How many inches are in 2 yards? Let's see, so 2 yards. I thought this was the one I had a typo on. It must have been one of the earlier slides. I forgot a Y. So it was how man, and yeah, I forgot to fix that. So if you caught that, I'm sorry. How many inches are in 2 yards? Well, let's first look at what is 1 yard. 1 yard equals 3 feet. Alright. So 2 yards, so we're doubling, has to be 3 times 2, 6 feet. Alright. And now we can see we've got 6 feet. Okay, well I know that 1 foot, side note here, 1 foot equals 12 inches. And we're trying to get 2 inches, so if we have 1 foot is 6 inches, and we have 6 feet, we want to figure out what goes in there. 1 times 6 will get us here, so 12 times 6 should be our answer. If we do 12 times 6, six times 2 is 12, here 1, 6 times 1 plus 1, 72. So we should have gotten 72 inches for that one. Alright? Our next problem here, I had the students estimate a little bit. They had a little fun with this one. How tall is Mr. G? That would be me. So I had them estimate about how tall I was. I'm actually 5'10", not very tall, but if you round that, I'm about 6 feet tall. So this would be the most accurate estimation right here. Alright, some capacities. We've got 1 gallon, half a gallon, quarts, pints, cups. And we have a way to relate all these. 8 ounces is 1 cup, 2 cups, 1 pint, 2 pints, 1 quart, 4 quarts, 1 gallon. The students have seen a chart before. It's got a big G, and then it's got some other things in it. It's got Q's, P's, and C's, and I'll show you how to set that up because it makes things much easier for a problem like this. If you drink 8 cups of water a day, how many gallons do you drink? Well, let's make our thing here. We've got a big G, and that's for gallon. And I know that a gallon has 4 quarts in it. I'm going to do that. Quart, 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 quart. And each quart has 2 pints in it. So that's our P's for pint. Alright? And each pint has 2 cups in it. So 2 little C's in each one here. Alright, so we've got 8 cups. If we look at our diagram, this is 2 cups, 4 cups, 6 cups, 8 cups. So if we use this diagram, we can see right here, the bottom half of our diagram, that is 8 cups. So we should be looking at half a gallon. Okay? We could also use, if we go back real quick, we could have used this. 1 gallon is 4 quarts, and then if we work, let's see, let's go, okay, 2 cups and 1 pint, and then we have 8 cups of water a day. So we've got 8 cups. And I know that in a quarter of a gallon, we've got 4 cups. So if we double that, we have another quarter, which would get us half the way. So I would say the best thing to do is use the diagram. The table is helpful too, but I think this makes things a lot more clear. So, yep, we'll stick with that. All right. Yep, half gallon there. I'm gonna check my time quick. All right, running out of time. We're almost there. This question: how many Fahrenheit degrees are between the freezing and boiling points of water? Well, oh, excuse me. All right, water boils here at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and it says water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So, figure out how many degrees are between those. 212 minus 32. We do that, 2 minus 2 is 0. 11 minus 3, 8. So 180 degrees Fahrenheit between the boiling and freezing temperatures. Okay. Real quick, we need to look at function tables, which we will be hitting a little bit more in the future. Function. A function is a mathematical rule that identifies the relationship between two sets of numbers. We have an input and an output, and we're going to use that. We're going to use that with this table shows the weight in ounces for a given weight in pounds. So our input would be 1 pound is 16 ounces, 2 pounds is 32 ounces. So our rule for this table is to get from this side to this side, we're just multiplying by 16. That gets us over here. Alright? And that applies all the way down. And as we go down, we can see we're just adding 16. 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 plus 16 is 48. So we're just adding 16s there. So that's the rule for this function. We just multiply by 16. And it says if somebody weighed 7 pounds when she was born, how many ounces would that be? Well, we want to take the shortcut. We know our rule is just to multiply by 16. We could do that, or add 16, get this, add 16 to that, and get that. 7 times 16 is the fastest way to do it, and we get 42, 112 ounces. Alright, so that's function tables briefly. We are going to hit this more in the future. Homework should be on the link, and I'll see you next time.